A large percentage of students struggle in our education system. In order to engage them in learning, Kumu Kava'a has developed a new Hawaiian culture-based education curriculum that can be initiated in any school.
Is there room for improvement in your teaching style and methodology? I'll tell you the answer. Yes, there is. There's always room for us to improve in how we teach and how we deliver. The choice is yours. The door is wide open. I have a methodology. I'm teaching it. Join me.
This new curriculum has been put in place by Roosevelt High School, a leading Hawaii public school.
This is the first time we're able to have such an expert, such a treasure like Kumu Kava'a to share with us. And I think that's what the students really value, whether they're Native Hawaiian or not, teachers as well. His strategies that he brings nurtures success.
The class that I'm doing at Roosevelt High School, working with students, developing project-based Hawaiian education for the students that learn in different ways.
I saw this as a way to engage these students, to bring them success in a non-traditional setting. That was still very rigorous, a lot of critical thinking involved. We wanted them to be able to work with groups, leadership skills involved. It was going to be a setting where we would nurture their progress. We would ensure success for them that they hadn't really found maybe in a traditional classroom setting.
There are two goals. The school is responsible for the academic performance of the students. I, as a Hawaiian specialist, my role there is to cultivate attitudes and behavior for academic, lifelong learning and success. If the attitudes are in place, they can do anything. What I bring is the wealth of my ancestors to the forefront, called the classroom.
The key to a successful learning environment is first laying the groundwork for a safe place to learn. Ho'olaka enables readiness for learning in a safe environment for student engagement and accountability.
Whatever that topic is on the opening day of class, I'm very clear about it, and that is to calm the brain, to accept me as the kumu, a foreigner in that class, someone they don't know, and to prepare them for the topic that I'm going to be talking about. That concept is called ho'olaka. So we need to bring the brain to the topic. My opening statements are very, very purposeful, and that's for the purpose of managing the behaviors for success from the very, very, very start. So I need to bring the brain to the topic. And how do you do that is dependent on an individual and the skills that the teacher brings to the classroom. But creating an environment so they feel safe.
Kava'a makes sure that that's important. You feel safe. There's no tricks. We're not trying to fail you. We're not trying to give you a test that's going to set you up for failure. We're trying to let you know every step of the way. There's no surprises. This is what's going to happen.
That's creating a safe place, emotionally safe place, intellectually safe.
Using mo'olelo brings stories to life that relate to topics being learned. This captivates students with relevant concepts, Hawaiian language, and culture.
I choose mo'olelo that's related to the topic that I'm going to be talking about. Mo'olelo is about stories, and stories help to paint pictures of the topic. It also entertains the youngsters to pull them again into the topic. It's a powerful mo'olelo.
Kumu Kava'a teaches in a very interesting way. It lures you in. You're learning a whole new world through his eyes, through the eyes of a Native Hawaiian.
The men at that point in time, the captain knew that if you were by a certain age, you already had the discipline. So my stories that I bring relate to the topic.
He tells more stories, which makes it more interesting.
I am very conscious about using words that paint pictures, and that comes from cultural understanding how Hawaiians taught.
He will actually teach you step by step, how he will actually tell you the stories of these different things that we're building.
Using mo'olelo helps students become engaged in the topic and in the classroom. It gives them relevance. It gives them a reason why they're learning what they're supposed to. It can relate to their life. And that is what education is supposed to be.
And it depends on what I see in the classroom. I'm looking for 95% attentiveness. And if I'm at 50, I don't stop the story. I continue the story. I embellish the story. I make it attractive until I get the students what is called laka. And then I introduce myself. And then I introduce the topic. But the story is related to the topic that I'm going to be teaching about.
With Olelo Ho, the process of repetition, review, and reflection increases students' retention of the most important topics.
Again, we go back to cultural teaching. We didn't have pencil and papers where you could take notes and review. So it is dependent on the kumu to explain again, again, and again, to keep the student's mind on track. Olelo Ho is to repeat, and say again. They do have tests, and I test very differently. I test again and again and again on what I feel is important for them to learn. So it's not a one-shot deal. It's not something that you study overnight, and then tomorrow you take the test and you pass it, and the next day you forget it. What I teach about is lifelong learning.
Kumu Kava'a implants thoughts and ideas far in advance for students to understand what is expected of them. This is called ho'upu, which allows students to take ownership and prepare for what is to come.
I also use another methodology called ho'upu to implant ideas into implant thoughts. If there is something that's going to happen 2 weeks from now, I'll plant the seeds now. And that in 2 weeks from now, we're going to do this. And I begin to explain a little bit of what it is until we get closer, and then the students will get the full explanation maybe 3 days or 4 days before the topic is actually launched in class. That's called ho'upu, implantation of thought.
So we're leading you folks ahead to prepare you for the test while you're doing something else. So when the test comes, you're not surprised. You already know. Everybody say ho'upu.
Planting the seed ahead of time. Do kids really understand the goals? That's what it is. Do they understand the targets in class? They go from class to class to class to class. When they sit in the room, do they know what they're supposed to be doing? We shouldn't be surprising them. We should be setting them up for success.
At the end of a term, students participate in Ho'ike to showcase their completed work in front of teachers, family, and friends.
Ho'ike is a combination of a semester's work that's delivered by the students. It's a time when students tell about what they have learned over the course of the semester or a quarter. Ho'ike, to make known. In the research for academic success, there are 3 elements for academic success. One is motivation. So the topic has to be exciting. So board and stone, making ukulele, building hale are exciting topics. They get revved up for it. That's motivation. Number 2 is create an environment for learning. The environment I create is a safe environment. When they're safe, they're not afraid to chance it. And then number 3 is relationship. And the relationship with the children allow your heart to be open so the good things can sink in.
With Kumu Kava'a's methodology, students are able to find success in their strengths while embracing the past to pave the way for their future.
At the end of the year, confidence is high. Their confidence is high. They're able to interact with adults, are more at ease. They fail at something and they're aligned to say, I can get it. I know. I can do it. I can do it. As opposed to feeling a sense of rejection or failure.
When students struggle in the classroom, it brings down their self-esteem. It makes them feel that they're unable to succeed. What I've learned from Kumu Kava'a is a new way of teaching, a new methodology that helps enable students to be successful in the classroom and beyond the classroom as well.
It's a class where you're able to express yourself with actually moving, learning, and participating.
I've seen tremendous changes in confidence. I've seen leadership skills grow. I've seen students who have now become comfortable presenting in front of an audience. I have girls who now want to do an internship. Never in a million years would those girls be thinking that they would be doing something like that. So it takes them out of their comfort zone. It helps them work with adults. So it transitions them not just for college, but for life.
If I pass what I learned from this class on to my sisters, next generation, then maybe they can pass it on.
Other schools in Hawaii should have this class because it helps draw everyone closer and helps people become more respectful of each other.
To see him start to really connect with not just who he is as a person, but to actually see him proud of what he's creating. He's proud of connecting, he wants to do the right thing, and just to see him actually accomplish that. It's incredible because I see the growth. I think every high school kid should be involved in this.
In 10 years, you're going to be the men and women who lead this island and to lead this culture.
I aloha ka ike o nā kupuna, to have a desire for the knowledge of our ancestors. When I'm finished with the youngsters, I want to hand them off to another teacher that espouses to the same values, to have a desire for learning, and to have a love affair and a desire for the knowledge of our ancestors.